So we have three very credible speakers to address this issue. Let me first call up the president of Zinnov. Zinnov is a global consulting company helping enterprises build, buy, and sell technology. Nilesh, thank you. You take those middle ones. So Nilesh is going to drive the conversation with two other panelists, and let me introduce one of them first. He's working on solving this safety problem from a technology product perspective. Let me call up CEO and co-founder of Fortanix, Anand Kashyap. Anand is building products which is going to help enterprises with this problem you just looked at. Thank you, Anand. And then to get the opposite perspective, like from the actual customer enterprises perspective, point of view, we have a consultant from Infosys, Anirban, Ghosh. He is helping delivering or implementing such solutions or addressing this problem for the largest enterprises of the world. I'm not going to say the name because I've been told I should not name names. But so he's going to talk about some of the things he's doing for some of his customers. So Nilesh, take it over.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for attending. So as you've been hearing for the whole day, full day today, how AI is going to change the world and the opportunities which you all have. But obviously with every opportunity there are challenges, and you saw the video. The GenAI market itself is going to go from 20 billion right now to about 110 billion in about a few years. But there are a lot of challenges. Anything which has to do with data obviously has, threats about cyber threats about data being misused, for malicious reasons, and also for privacy and security reasons. That you may leak your data. If I'm using an LLM or ChatGPT and I'm putting my company's data in it, I'm leaking that data to the world. So how do you address these problems is what we're going to talk about. And we have, as you just said, we have two really great people here. I'm going to ask each one of them to talk a little bit about themselves and the company they are representing. So, Anand.
Thanks, Nilesh. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me here. My name is Anand Kashyap. I'm co-founder and CEO of Fortanix. Fortanix is a data security company. We secure data throughout its life cycle, whether it's at rest, in motion, or transit, using technologies like confidential computing. And we make sure that data stays protected and secure, whether it's on-prem, cloud, SaaS, and now increasingly in AI. So yeah, that's my introduction.
It's a pleasure to be here in this, to join you guys in the panel. It's late in the day, we'll keep it short. My name is Anirban Ghosh. I'm an AI researcher and a solution engineer from Infosys. And I work with one of the largest, high-tech retail companies and solve their use cases in rapid prototyping and in production. So today I'll be happy to touch upon one of the critical aspects of AI-led solutions, which is data security and privacy.
Thank you. And I'm Nilesh Thakker, as was said earlier. I'm the president at Zinnov. Zinnov is a management consulting company. We help companies with build, buy, and sell technology. One of the areas which I focus on, my practice focuses on, is helping companies develop global development centers in India and Mexico. So we basically get you talent which you need for all the work which you need to do. So that's the area which we focus on. So starting out, I'll start with some questions and we'll take some questions from the audience too. So to set the context, so Anand, what are the top cybersecurity trends and threats businesses face today? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, so if you look at it from a general way, a lot of things in cybersecurity don't change that much because the motivation of the bad guys, the hackers, does not change. They go after your data or they try to disrupt your business. What has changed really is the the technical stack being implemented in the enterprise. With the advent of AI, the entire tech stack is going to get changed. It will evolve over the next few years. And that has brought in a new set of cybersecurity challenges. What we often see is that the bad guys and the good guys, they both have access to the same set of tools. Mm-hmm. So AI is available to the good guys, AI is available to the bad guys. So while AI is being used to improve security tools, the attacks also continue to evolve as well. So it's a cat and mouse game where we want to stay ahead of all the new threats that are coming, especially with AI. Another new or different class of threat that Fortanix focuses on is around quantum computers. And that's not as immediate as AI, but as quantum computers come in, they become real. There are applications in AI as well, but in more general terms, it will have a huge impact on data security. All kinds of encryption will be broken, and then a new class of encryption will have to be deployed. So that's another area of focus for us that we continue to look at.
Okay. Anirban, what kind of use cases have you implemented as part of your companies and helping your customers?
Sure. I think it'll be probably 10 years from now when quantum computing will be in production for us, and we'll be happy to implement that. But meanwhile, I'll kind of get back to data, because all AI use cases starts with data. So for a particular customer, when we were trying to build a product development and engineering system, they always manage their roadmaps over a ticketing system. And they are managed by data scientists, ML engineers, test engineers, which are disparately located across the globe. But they have to get to finishing the artifact of either releasing an enhancement or adding a new feature in a very short span of time. But all of these data sets are encrypted. And it is based on the role privileges for the working groups. So how do you kind of help improve the operational efficiency on a ticketing system where everything is encrypted? So what we went about doing is we applied certain linear models and tree-based models on fully homomorphic encrypted data sets. So for us to kind of help classify what the ticket type is, to figure out what the issue categories are, to understand what kind of similar tickets were previously solved, and then if we can enrich the ticket with previously solved bug fixes. So it kind of helped us to kind of improve 25% of our turnaround time of solving the tickets in a very secure and privacy preserving manner. So that's one of the use cases.
Okay.
Now, this is a very classical ML-based approach. If I look into another very important use case that I want to bring to our notice is, some of you may have heard about the Snowflake breach that happened with a lot of customers where data leakages had happened. But fortunately for my customer with whom we worked, with one of the largest Snowflake implementations, there was no cyber hacks. Why? Because we had a multi-factor authentication set up already. We had single sign-on with enterprise with role-based accesses. And to the extent we also provide at a very row-level granular access controls so that people from care, support, finance, supply chain, everybody is able to access and generate reports and tools on top of the data sets. So that's second kind of use cases where it is again data related, but it's tightly tied to the enterprise data lake. And the third one would be very appropriate from a GenAI standpoint, and which is a fairly recent one. And it took us a while to kind of get to production because InfoSec, the architecture review board, was constantly figuring out if the data and the weights that are getting updated on the LLM model is having any tunneling effect and getting shared outside the enterprise. So for example, the finance group has a lot of queries from regular employees asking, what's my reimbursement criteria based on my job roles? The procurement team is asking, how's my reseller contracts codified? Now, all of these answers are not in a database. They're also in a contract. So how do you amalgamate the unstructured and structured content into one blended answer? These are highly complex semantics queries. But on top of that, you have to overlay what is the user role? What resources can I give access to this user? What kind of actions am I allowing? And what kind of context do I have to ask these kinds of questions? So it's a RAG, but then it's a lot of secured, enhanced role-based privileges RAG. So those are three examples I can put in a short span of time, but there are plenty others.
Sure. Anand, are you using AI in your products? How are you using AI to improve your products? Because obviously one way to make your product better is using AI itself.
Yeah, we're using some AI in our product, and our core product is around providing an encryption and key management product. But our focus is more on security for AI rather than AI for security, although I think AI for security also has its place with the advent of GenAI, especially the amount of processing of data that you can do in a short duration of time and the amount of automation you can do with workflows and agents has gone up several orders of magnitude. So I see a lot of scope for using AI in improving the security tools. How we interface with the security tools using Copilot is also very interesting. And we are looking at all of those things. But on the flip side of it, as enterprises are deploying AI, and we heard about so many use cases in the last few sessions, and there's so much enthusiasm, but security is one thing, which puts a cold blanket on all the implementations, because enterprises care about security, they care about privacy, they care about governance, they care about how you're managing the roles and access control around it, and how do you keep the data secure and not let it leak. So we are focused on building solutions for that, where we build a wide variety of security and privacy solutions in making AI more secure.
Okay. So can you talk about how your confidential computing is evolving in this AI space?
Yeah, so confidential computing is one of the tools we used. It's a privacy enhancing tool, and Anirban talked about fully homomorphic encryption. That's another variation or another alternative to confidential computing, also in the privacy enhancing tools category. But the idea is, using a technology like confidential computing, you can keep the data secure and encrypted throughout its life cycle. And the confidential computing, when we started the company, was a new technology. It was a very nascent technology. Even now, there's not as much awareness as I would like to see about confidential computing. But the cloud providers have embraced it, and it's widely available in all the three major cloud. It's widely available in all the chip vendors, whether it's Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, which has confidential GPUs. And I think all the lower level layers of hardware, cloud availability, are now available for people to start building applications and deploying even generative AI-based solutions using confidential computing. An example would be, let's say you're building a RAG model using an LLM, an embedding model, you have a vector database, and then you want to put a chat interface. Now it's possible to build a pipeline for AI like that, where each component of AI of this generative AI pipeline, whether it's the vector database or the LLM, they can all be individually protected using confidential computing, which means the data that goes in stays protected. Nobody can see that data if you're not authorized, and nobody can tamper with the data as well. It also gives you a way to make sure that the weights of the LLM, the parameters cannot be tampered with, cannot be changed, so which is additional benefit of using confidential computing. But while confidential computing is a good technology, I don't think it's complete. In security, we talk about defense in depth. You need layers of security. So you still need your AI guardrails, as if you don't want your data to go outside and look for sensitive data and stop it. You still need role-based access control. You still need to look at preventing hallucinations and making sure that the models are behaving in a way you want them to behave. So I think it's a combination of confidential computing and all the traditional security tools that should go in as enterprises deploy a generative AI pipeline, which can be secure, and there's security organization, the CISO can say, okay, this is good enough for us.
Okay. So is that what you say, a role-based is one way to enterprise to prevent data leakage? Is that how you say?
It's one of the components.
Okay.
Using AI, you should not be able to circumvent traditional or already established access control mechanism. If you don't have access to some message in your Slack, for example, because you're not in this channel, with AI, you should not be able to bypass the controls and get access to that data.
So, Anirban, what are the trends you are seeing in the AI space, in the security, data security and GenAI space?
Sure. One of the trends is what Anand was mentioning about confidential computing. The most important group in an enterprise, the legal, they want to have a very secure environment where nothing can be leaked. So that would be a primary component where confidential computing can be used. But coming back to your question about what are the trends that we see, there are many. But if you have to put it in a very practical terms of what we are doing right now, we are writing a whole lot of list of policy documentation by the data governance and the stewards, and they are very complex. So how do you kind of take a documentation of a governance policy documentation and translate that into an actual AI-first practical implementation script? That means, can I kind of read the document, or can I ask the machine or an LLM to read the document and then codify who are my roles, what's my role privileges, what kind of grants that I can give, what kind of disclosures he or she is available to look at. And not only the data and the access, but also the AI tools. Like if I have a Jupyter notebook on a cloud, what kind of privileges that I would give to the engineering tools for the data and the engineering tool to kind of connect together. Because the operational DevOps also needs to be very secure.
Right.
So engineering tools, and the last thing is the model. There's a whole marketplace of models that are available, open and closed, at an enterprise level which are approved. So which ones do I kind of allow? If there is a pre-trained model or allow you to do a fine-tuning or adapted model or alignment. So some of those kinds of things will come up where you codify the document into an actual prescriptive solution blueprint. The second one that I see is, for example, there are new devices that are getting built by high techs, especially in the areas of spatial computing. There, the kind of native data that is generated is so small, and the core product engineering team do not want to hand it over to the testing team as well because of confidentiality.
Right.
But they want the whole device to be tested. So here comes the opportunity of creating synthetic data sets, which matches the structure and the content of the core device that you're generating. So synthetic data generation and appropriate for the domain and aligned to the objective of either testing or code generation. That would be the second actual practical trends that we see that's being harnessed.
Awesome.
If I
Now
can,
go ahead.
if I can just add to that, in terms of trends we are seeing in GenAI, a lot of people here are founders or entrepreneurs, and in Bay Area we kind of live in a bubble where it's very forward-leaning and people are adopting GenAI, even enterprises are adopting it and running with it, right? But if you look at a global scale, there's still a lot of enthusiasm around using GenAI, but the further you go away from Bay Area, and I spent some time in Japan and the Middle East just in the last couple of weeks, we see that people they want to adopt AI and GenAI, but they're very concerned about security and privacy and governance. So the tools that are being developed for the global market, they should think about security from the beginning itself. They should start adopting the wide variety of security tools and technologies that are available, and build the products which are secure by design and secure already before they go to the market.
Awesome. I see that we are running out of time, so obviously, there's a lot of opportunities with GenAI and AI overall, but there's obviously going to be threats, particularly it's based so much on data, and both from a privacy and the data leakage and just of misuse can be a huge issue for us, and so it's something which we have to all ponder and think about how we deal with it. So thank you both of you for giving us some insights into how are you thinking about this. So
Thank you.
Thank you.